He started life with nothing, no army, no kingdom, not even a safe place to sleep. His own tribe abandoned his family to die in the wilderness. And yet, this same boy grew up to build the largest connected land empire the world has ever seen, bigger than Alexander's, bigger than Rome's. His name was Temujin. History remembers him as Genghis Khan. In our last video, we told you about Alexander the Great, who conquered the known world nearly 2,300 years ago. Today, almost 1,500 years after Alexander, we meet the man who conquered even more. Welcome back to the World Story English, the channel where history teaches you English. Today I'm here with the story of Genghis Khan. Genghis Khan was born around the year 1162 on the harsh grasslands of Mongolia. At birth he was given the name Temujin. His father was a minor tribal chief. But when Temujin was only 9 years old, his father was poisoned by a rival tribe. Without their leader, Temujin's own tribe abandoned his family, his mother, and his siblings, leaving them alone on the open steppe with almost nothing. Most families in this situation did not survive. But Temujin's mother refused to give up. She taught her children to hunt, to fish, and to forage for food just to stay alive. Life only grew harder. As a teenager, Temujin was captured by a rival clan and forced into slavery, wearing a heavy wooden collar around his neck. He eventually escaped, a moment that could have easily ended in his death, but instead became the beginning of his rise. Temujin slowly began gathering allies. He was known for a quality that was rare among leaders of his time. He judged people by loyalty and skill, not by which clan or family they were born into. This made him deeply popular among warriors who had been treated poorly under the old tribal systems. One by one, Temujin defeated or absorbed rival Mongol tribes. Some he conquered in battle. Others joined him willingly, drawn by his reputation for fairness and strength. By the year 1206, Temujin had done something that had never been done before. He united all the warring tribes of Mongolia under a single ruler. At a great gathering of Mongol leaders, he was given a new name and title, Genghis Khan, meaning something close to universal ruler. He was no longer just a survivor. He was the leader of an entire nation. What Genghis Khan built next was something the world had never seen, a highly organized, incredibly fast military force. Mongol warriors were famous for their skill on horseback. Many could shoot arrows accurately while riding at full speed. Genghis Khan organized his army into disciplined units, with clear rules and strict loyalty, unlike the looser tribal armies of the past. His forces could travel enormous distances in short periods of time, striking cities before they even knew an army was near. He also used something clever, fear itself, as a weapon. Cities that surrendered peacefully were often treated well. Cities that resisted faced complete destruction. Word of this spread quickly, and often entire regions surrendered without a single battle, simply out of fear of what would happen if they didn't. Genghis Khan's armies expanded in almost every direction. They conquered northern China. They swept through Central Asia, defeating the powerful Khwarezmian Empire. They pushed as far west as Persia and parts of Russia. At its height, the Mongol Empire stretched from the Pacific Ocean in the east to Eastern Europe in the west, the largest connected land empire in human history, a record that still stands today. Unlike many conquerors, Genghis Khan did not just destroy what he conquered. He was deeply interested in ideas from other cultures. He supported trade along what we now call the Silk Road, allowing goods and also knowledge to travel between East and West faster than ever before. He also promoted religious tolerance across his empire, a policy that was unusually progressive for that era in history. In the year 1227, Genghis Khan died. Historians still debate the exact cause, with theories ranging from illness to injury from a fall off his horse. Before his death, he had already planned carefully for what would happen next. He divided his enormous empire among his sons and grandsons, hoping to avoid the chaos that often followed the death of a great conqueror. For a time, his plan worked. The Mongol Empire continued to expand even after his death, eventually becoming the largest empire in world history under his descendants, including his grandson, Kublai Khan, who would go on to conquer all of China. Genghis Khan's legacy is complicated. To the millions of people conquered by his armies, he was a figure of terror and devastation. Entire cities were destroyed, and historians estimate that his conquests caused the deaths of tens of millions of people. But his empire also connected East and West in ways that reshaped the world. Trade routes flourished. Ideas, technology, and even diseases traveled faster between civilizations than ever before. Some historians argue that the stability the Mongol Empire brought to trade routes, sometimes called the Pax Mongolica or Mongol Peace, helped set the stage for later periods of global exploration and exchange. Today, in Mongolia, Genghis Khan is remembered as a national hero and founding father, a symbol of unity and strength. Outside Mongolia, his legacy is remembered very differently, often as a symbol of conquest and destruction. Both views come from the same set of facts. History, once again, depends on where you're standing when you look at it. From an abandoned boy on the Mongolian steppe to the ruler of the largest land empire in history, Genghis Khan's story is one of the most extreme rises to power the world has ever recorded. If you enjoyed learning his story and a few new English words with it, subscribe for a new story every week.